Look, I do not want to make this video. I would much rather celebrate what's exciting about Marvel Snap. I think as content creators, we try to hype up the game, be authentic about it, but show, all the new stuff and celebrate why it's fun, get people excited. And unfortunately, I just feel like there's still a huge issue that's either, making existing players leave the game or get discouraged, or also preventing new players from jumping in and really, truly enjoying the experience that is Marvel Snap. So I just want to talk about the economy in Marvel Snap. It has been an ongoing issue. It has been, renowned as one of the more expensive card games on the market, with very little return. And I feel like changes need to be made. I felt like changes needed to be made. On December 8th is when I made this video. That was about a week and a bit after the token shop was released. Because at the time, they gave us a bunch of tokens when it was released. If you had been playing for a significant amount of time, you got to basically get 2 free Series 5 cards. And then if you hadn't been playing too much, you got like 1 free one, etc., etc. It was in tokens, but it was pretty good. But it felt like the honeymoon stages. It was like, here's a bunch of tokens. It's going to be exciting. Here's the token shop. But then right after you use those, you started to realize, wow, it takes a long time to save up those tokens and get a Series 5 card. And if this does not apply to you, then I am stoked for you. I would like nothing more than people to be happy with the current state of Marvel Snap in its entirety. From the economy to the meta to balance, everything like that, that's all I could ever want. But I feel like those people unfortunately fall in the minority, and a majority of players are frustrated. And I have a few things that I want to show you guys in this video that kind of back that up, which I'm a bit concerned about. But here is the post economic changes since token shop release, right? To see what they have done up to this point, basically since I made this video. So in January 10th, collector's token payout for players who completed Series 3 cards will be between 200 to 600 instead of a fixed 400. Negligible. That didn't even matter. It's like literally just giving you highs and lows instead of a fixed amount. Ignored. Okay, January 31st, first series drop. Series drops are really important. This is fantastic. It makes new cards eventually accessible for the general population. The problem is it takes too damn long. Like, how many times have you probably said it or seen it online, like in Reddit or anything, Twitter, anything like that, where it's like, oh, sweet, a new card. I can't wait to play that 2-3 months next year, whatever it is. And that's justified. That's basically how it works. It takes too long. You can't really save up the tokens to get that card. You can save up for maybe 1 a month, and that's being generous. We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, it's not great. It's not a good feeling. So new card hype doesn't really exist, I think. You get to watch it like from your favorite content creator, but that's like just about it. You don't actually get to experience the new content yourself until 3 months later, and then the meta has already figured out how that card's good, how it should be played. So you don't get that fun experimentation phase that is so valuable in card games when you first pick them up. So anyways, that's a bit of a frustration, but we'll get to that in a second as well. So Series 5 and 4 now have shared rotation protection in the token shop. That doesn't really matter because eventually they split up the token shop, which we'll get to. Token Tuesdays finally started on February 21st. These have actually been fantastic little bundles that you can get. You can get tokens directly using your gold. It's good value. These are great. I would love to see more of these and maybe even at a cheaper price. March 21st, 4 times more tokens than before for Series 3 complete. That sounds great, but they also simultaneously remove Series 3 from the token shop. So it was like, oh, shoot. Like Series 3 is the most bloated series in Marvel Snap. It has like, I don't even know, 100 cards or something like that. And it's only going to get bigger because up to this moment in time, they have not dropped any cards from Series 3 to 2 post token shop. Right? So Sandman and Killmonger actually used to be Series 3 way back in beta, and they dropped those, but they haven't done it since. I would love to see them do that a little bit more and make those cards a little bit faster to acquire, because right now Series 3 is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and this is the one series in the game that you pretty much can't target cards. Series 1 and 2 are pretty quick, and then you can't target Series 3, and then you can get the 4 and 5s. So I don't know, you get more tokens, which means you can get the new stuff faster, which is a bit of a band-aid on the problem, but you can't get, I don't know, like that meta-defining Series 3 card. You just got to hope that you roll into one of those chests. It wasn't a complete solution. It was kind of a workaround, and I don't feel like they should have added that clause. I feel like Series 3 should still be purchasable for those people who are jumping into Series 3. Okay. And then they split up the token shop on April 18th. That's the most recent change. Series 4 and 5 are their own little shop thing. The new card is its own thing, and the ultimate variants. That is a great feature. But when you look back at all of these features, have they made the game much more cheap? Have they made it a lot more economically viable for new player base, for casual players? Like, is this reasonable? Or are we just kind of adapting to the way it is, the way it's set up, these expensive bundles, which we're going to get to, the token prices, every card being released as a Series 5? Are we becoming numb to it? Are we just accepting that that's the way the game is going to be? And again, if you are happy with that, then I am stoked for you. All this that I'm going to be talking about in this video does not even apply to me. I'm not even crying about it. I don't even care. It really doesn't matter. I get the cards that I want because I put money into this game because I'm a content creator. That's how I justify my purchases, which made me think, what if I didn't make content? What if I was just a consumer of this product, just like a lot of the viewers are? Okay. One, would I have spent the same amount of money that I have? The answer, I can tell you right now, is no. I'm pretty conservative when it comes to purchases in video games, and I would not have spent the same amount of money that I have, which means I probably would have 30 to 40% less resources, in-game resources, than I actively have in terms of cards, etc. Okay? Avatars, whatever. Two, would I still be playing the game? This is a heavy-handed question, but honestly, if I really was being honest with you guys, the answer is no. That comes from a few things. I would probably, get a little bit tired of not being able to get the new stuff. I'd want it, can't really afford it. I don't want to put the money into it, so it just gets kind of stale for me there. Then another issue is I would hit infinite, and I feel like I would achieve the game. There's no, further achievement beyond infinite unless you want to hit it every single season. But then again, like I feel like I need that shuffle up, those new cards to make it fun, build a new deck. If I was playing the same decks month over month, they don't shuffle up that much. And not a shot at content creators. I love that they do this, but they're making all kinds of decks. But a lot of the times it's recycled with like one or two cards that's different, because that's just how it is. The cards don't get changed enough. Now we do have balance changes coming, which helps, but I feel like new cards are the best way to bring life to different metas. But it's, again, the general population can access the new cards, so there's a bit of an inherent problem there. Anyways, that's what they've done post token shop. Let's look at the bundles real quick. Okay, so the bundles are kind of interesting because I think a lot of them are pretty decent. And I will say this right off the bat, the best part about the bundles is you do not have to purchase them. You can just leave them be. So it doesn't really matter if they're that much more expensive. It's just whatever. The only problem I have is that because they're putting in bundles, I feel like it's their way of saying, we're giving you opportunities to acquire the new cards. We're giving you opportunities to acquire tokens. So if you're not capitalizing on that, well, then it's not our problem. We're going to keep our prices the same, which is a bit of a problem when your bundles cost $100. Look at Beautiful Beyond Compare. This little snapshot here is from marvelsnapzone.com. They do fantastic work. And this is for the upcoming June season, or May season, I believe. So Beautiful Beyond Compare is going to be the next bundle. Look at the progression value, which is like this column right here, okay? 4.9. So that is your best bang for your buck if you want to progress in Marvel Snap, if you want to get this bundle compared to other bundles, right? Because you're getting 10,000 tokens. That is a Series 5 and a Series 3 card with a little bit left over, which is great, but you're paying $100. And what did I just say you get? 2 cards. Do you see what happened there? When I first said that statement, because it's a Series 5 and a Series 4 card, you probably thought that's really good value. That's great. But then when I talk about $100 for 2 cards, look at any other card game. Isn't that ridiculous? It's actually crazy. And I feel like my brain has been worked around to think, because they're so rare, that cards are so difficult to acquire, that it's okay. It's okay to spend $100, which you could spend on a full game that could give you 60 plus hours of entertainment. But in this game, you can use it to get 2 cards. I think that's a little bit crazy. It's becoming normalized, and it scares me a little bit because we see this awesome progression value. We see that you can get a lot of tokens. You can finally get that card you really want, but it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. And maybe you get that card and it's a whiff. It's not actually as strong as you predicted or some content creator told you it would be. Or then on top of that, maybe you put it in a deck, but then the meta shifts and that deck's not so great, so you don't really want to play it anymore. And then a few weeks later, you're not even playing that card. Like, you would think with $100, you you should be playing that card every single game, and it continues to be really exciting. And again, I'm going to keep saying this. Maybe that works for you. Maybe it continues to be exciting for you, and I could not be happier. But again, I feel like the majority is struggling with the economy here, and we have to find some ways to make changes. And, we don't have to purchase these bundles. That's fine. But then, for the people that aren't going to like dish out $100, can we find a ways to make it a little bit cheaper to acquire some of the new cards, or at least have faster means of progression? And another thing that I want to tell you guys right now is that I actually like the core skeleton of progression in Marvel Snap. I like the fact that you can't really get every single card. That's fine to me. I think right now it's a numbers game. We're just short on the numbers. We just need to up a few things or make things a little bit easier to acquire, just a little bit, so that it feels achievable. Right now, it does not. And I feel like a lot of the players are feeling that right now. And it shows when we look at how many players are in Collection Series 1, Collection Series 2, and beyond. I feel like new players are not picking up Snap. Let's have a look. Okay, so these are two fantastic polls that Alex and Snapster do on their YouTube channels. These are two of the bigger Snap channels out in the market. Like there's other ones like Cozy and Molt, of course. But these guys do these polls where they ask their viewers, which collection level are you? Which is really great data to have. And I'm sure Team Secondary has much better data because, of course, we are only looking at people who watch YouTube and then subscribe and then actually vote on the poll. There's a few barriers, but it's the only data that I can pull from. So we might as well use the sample size that we have. And as you can see, these have like 8K, 16K votes. So I feel like it's pretty decent. But as you can see, basically over the course of the last 4 months, the early population that's jumping into Collection Series 1 and Series 2 are diminishing. Like, look at this, 1%? 2%? Like, that's crazy. Everybody's like, going into Series 3, going to be in Series 4. So obviously we got a big boom at the beginning, right? Global launch was in October. Token Shop probably helped. I'm sure a lot of influx of players in that span of time, which is great. Any natural game was going to have that, and then they're going to go down, of course, because the hype of the release is now past. But I still feel like there shouldn't be 1%, dude. And the main reason I think this is happening, I've actually had a personal experience of this. So I introduced a friend to Marvel Snap, and they got to play, okay? But really quickly, I can't show them the same experience. I can't be like, hey, here's the game, and look, because I'm playing all these crazy cards, all these different decks and whatnot, and they have nothing. They can't really have those same experiences. They're in a completely different new player experience. The game is entirely different. We're going to get to that next, but it's just crazy. So like there's this uphill climb, which is just so massive to eventually get. You either have to put in months of time, which is not, not everybody's willing to do that, or you put in loads of money. And again, not everyone's willing to do that. So I think a lot of people pick up the game, see that it's a really fun loop, but realize that it's going to take forever to acquire all the cards or be competitive or anything like that. So they end up dropping it. And I think that's a huge problem for the long-term growth of this game. The new player experience is kind of rough, and it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger as new cards come out, and they're only getting stuck in Series 3, that bloat like I was talking about. So let's look at the new player experience as a whole. Okay, so this was just a general look of the new player experience, but it's actually an experience that I had directly because we did a snap lock challenge on this channel, and it's where I started a brand new account with a few different constraints to make the challenge difficult. But regardless, I started to realize some trends, which kind of like shocked me, I guess. It's because it's been a while. I played, the tutorial and whatnot and started my account in last June. So it's been a while. So you start off, you're in the tutorial, whatever. You go through like 30 collection levels and then you finally finish it. You don't really know that you finished it. The game doesn't really tell you. So you just start winning like crazy. You feel unstoppable. I know all of my friends were like, what? Like, I'm good at this game. I'm like 30-1. I'm like, yeah, okay, just wait. Okay. Then you start rapidly acquiring new cards. It doesn't take a long time. It's like 2 collection levels at the beginning. You're getting cards nonstop. Yeah, you're tied to those series, but it's fine. It's fun. You're getting new stuff. It's great. Okay. You're also playing against loads of bots. And that's what you don't really know as a new player. They do a pretty good job of hiding the fact that it's a bot. And you know what? That's probably okay. Where it's not okay though, and what I realized with the snap lock challenge is once you even get to rank 80, 70, 90, whatever, you still are playing bots frequently. bots that throw games. Which brings me to a crazy point. Have you ever seen on Reddit, Twitter, any social media where somebody posts, first season playing Snap hit infinite, this game is easy? Something along those lines. If you follow any of those social medias, I'm sure you've seen a post that looks like that, where, you know, you're in easy mode at that point. You got to grow your collection to actually meet the real game. Until you hit Series 3, you're like midway through there. That's when Marvel Snap starts, which is just crazy. It's a completely different experience. And I'm not saying it's worse necessarily, it's just different. So are people going to stick with it to get to that new experience? When they finally reach the real Marvel Snap, the Series 3, hitting those decks, you know, a lot more players in that realm, are they going to get discouraged and just drop off because it's going to take too long to acquire all those cards to finally be competitive? Is that a hard stop? I don't know. We don't have the data. I don't know what Team Second Dinner looks at, but it just seems a little bit unsustainable. I feel like, again, we just need to make some changes. And that new player bundle, that pro bundle, was not it. $130 to get you started, to hopefully get you all to Series 1 or anything like that. I don't know. That just propels you into Series 3 to just get destroyed by a bunch of players who have a lot of cards there. So it's tough. This has been an ongoing issue, by the way. I remember back in beta, a lot of people felt this way, and still is an issue, but I feel like we don't hear about it anymore because the new player base is kind of dying. Which one of the arguments that I hear a lot is that it is a mobile game, and that is just how these things work. And you know what? You're kind of right. It's true. Yes, it's a mobile loop. You know, get you started, get you confident, get you feeling good. You destroy at this game. You're hooked on it now, and now it slows down. Now there's paywalls. Now there's time gates. All these sorts of things to slow you down. And it's true. It exists in Marvel Snap, unfortunately. I think that they've innovated in some areas beyond that typical loop, that typical experience. But we are still in that kind of realm of mobile gotcha, you know, like, but we are still kind of in that mobile loop, and it's unfortunate. But I still have hope for this game, like beyond hope. I adore and love this game. I think it is so much fun, but changes need to be made for new players and existing players. I'm having a lot of people tell me that they're just dropping the game because it's too expensive, which is a bummer, you know, but I understand, which kind of made me want to make this video. Okay, so let's take a look at a personal experience that also happened to me. All right, so what you're going to be seeing here is recently I acquired Dazzler, but it took almost 1,000 levels for me to acquire her. I hit the pity timer, which was about a month and a half, I think, of me opening chests. Like, it was just crazy. So it got me thinking, okay, how much does that actually cost to do all of this? Yeah, I got some cool variants. And of course, you know, we got to talk about this. You know, I'm going to get into the breakdown of the cost and whatnot. But of course, I acquired tokens, I acquired credits, I acquired gold throughout my journey of opening these chests, which makes it easier to progress, easier to get new cards. So what I'm going to be looking at is when you don't include those, just how much it costs if I straight up with real money purchased enough gold to acquire credits, etc., to get 78 reserves, which is what I'm being told is the pity timer that exists in Marvel Snap for a Series 4 card. There is no pity timer for Series 5. It's just pure luck. So if you open one, that's great. I'm collection level 8,500 or something like that. Have yet to ever open one. So that's just how it is. All right, so check it out. So the Snap prices, 12 collection levels equals 1 collector's reserve. 12 collection levels equals 600 credits, right? So to get 1 reserve, you're using 600 credits. We know this. 500 credits is 400 gold according to the in-game shop. 8,000 gold is 100 US dollars. I'm going to use US dollars because that seems to be the most common currency for this viewership. So these exist in the shop. That bundle, that 8,000 gold, is technically your best value bundle to get the most gold out of your dollar. So the pity timer, as we know it, and if it's not quite exactly 78, fine. This is the math still checks out if you want to reduce or add. Okay. 78 reserves, 936 collection levels. That's what it takes. That's quite a bit of leveling up. Well, those levels are going to cost you 46,800 credits, right? Because we know 12 collection levels, 600 credits. Boom, there's your numbers. 46,800 credits is the equivalent of 37,440 gold. if we continuously did that exchange in the shop, right? So obviously you'd be using your gold to get the credits, but keep this in mind. There is a time gate. You actually can't do that in a single day, only so many times. So you can't just like dump 37,000 gold into 46,000 credits. But just let's say we could, because the numbers, that's how it works. Then here it is. And then if we were to use that gold, if we were to somehow purchase that big amount of gold, which we can't, well, you'd have to spend $468 US. That is buying the 8,000 gold bundle 4 times over and some, and a bit more after that. And what does $468 US get you? 1 card, because you finally hit the pity timer. Now, that is the exaggerated example, because of course it did not just get you 1 card. It got you avatars. Oh, great. Titles. Oh, love those. But it also got you boosters. Oh, so wait, no, that's not good either. Credits to get you, more levels. Okay, that's just kind of redundant. Gold, that's pretty good because that can get me more credits, or also, cosmetics. That's actually good. I'm about that. Oh, variants. Speaking of cosmetics, I'm up for those. Variants are great. Those are nice to see, except for when they're pixels. Not everybody loves that, but hey, that's a thing. Okay, and then tokens. Of course, I'm getting tokens, loads of tokens. That's great because I can eventually, assemble all those tokens and get a card. I'm going to need a lot. I might not even get enough in all of these reserves to get 1 Series 5 card, but hey, it's going to get me much closer. So if I put all of that together, and let's say I even got lucky and, I got like 2 cards. I didn't even hit the pity timer. I got 2 cards and then third on the 78. So I got 3 cards, bunch of tokens. Maybe I can afford a Series 4 card, and I got some gold left over for maybe some variants, some cool avatars, titles, maybe a variant or 2 there. I got pretty lucky in these 78 reserves. I spent $468 though. I spent $468 for, what did I just say? 3 cards, some variants, cosmetics. What? That's crazy, dude. That's still crazy. Like, again, that's why I'm making this video, is like, that cannot be normalized pricing. That is just so much money. And again, if you want to have that, if you want to have what I just said, let's just, not even, we'll go less than half. We'll go down to $100. If I only had to spend $100 to get 78 reserves and I got the rewards that I just listed out, does that seem worth it? Does that still seem worth it? 3 cards and all those cosmetics. I don't know. Is that just the way Marvel Snap is? Because that is just so crazy expensive. And this saving grace is that a lot of this you can get from, just playing the game, right? You don't have to spend the money to get 78 reserves. You can just play every single day, complete your dailies, and eventually you'll get 78 reserves. Eventually you'll hit that pity timer. You'll get cards. You'll get tokens. You can use those tokens to get cards. So there is just a free to play fashion to this game. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm not denying that there isn't. What I'm saying is, if I chose to spend the money, the return is minimal. Premium pricing, minimal returns, in my opinion. Okay. So it's better to be free to play, but it's slow. And it's not guaranteed. You're not going to get the new stuff, not for a while anyways. Maybe, again, once a month. But even then, look at how much tokens you're getting. Percentage chance of opening up a Series 4 card. Mind you, this is all past collection level 1006. But it's just crazy to me sometimes. All right, but I don't like to bring up too many problems without potentially offering some solutions. And I kind of want to hear what you guys have to think. So let's look at that. So, solutions. They're not going to refund anything. They've done fantastic jobs. You got to give it up for Team Secondary. This development team is doing a great job with this game. I will not take that away from them. It is a fantastic game. One of the best card games that I've ever played. So much so that I decided to make content for it, which I have never done before. I just feel like we have to change some of these numbers. Make it a little bit more economically feasible for the general population, okay? That's all I'm saying. So, some solutions. You could increase token rewards. Instead of 200 to 600, what if it was just straight up like 600 every time or something like that? Maybe that's too much. I'm not saying specifically that number, but in general, more tokens out there, okay? More frequent series drops, right? So the series drops are pretty good, but they happen, I think it takes 3 months for a card to go from 5, or release anyways, to Series 3. And then if you're not even Series 3 complete, it's still going to take time to acquire, right? So I feel like maybe if it was a little bit faster to get there, it'd be a little bit faster to acquire. Same with bringing back purchasing Series 3 cards. I think it would be great. Cheaper bundles, man, the $100 ones, that's just wild, especially when you put your best progression value behind that. It's a bit of a tough pill to swallow. Improve the drop rates, you know, the 10%, the 1%, maybe actually put a pity timer on Series 5 cards. That'd be nice. New card rentals, I always thought that would be a good option. Believe Alex once said that it'd be really cool if you could like pin a card in your shop. You could then use it in your decks until, I don't know, maybe the next like card exchange would rotate it out even though it's pinned. I don't know. You could find a way, maybe it's like a rental pin, right? You could just try out a card before you buy it, so you know if you want to actually pick up that card, use your valuable resources on it. Change new card series releases. You know, instead of them always being at 5, maybe we have some cards released at 4, released at 3, stagger it a little bit. I don't know, that'd be pretty great as well. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Am I over-exaggerating this problem? Is it not a problem? I totally understand. Again, it doesn't even affect me. I feel like I just see the player base kind of declining, getting frustrated with this. So I just wanted to bring it up again. I brought it up about 5 months ago. If there's no changes in the next 5 months, I will do this again until there is eventually change. I love this game. I care about this game deeply. I enjoy making content on this game. I just want everyone to enjoy it as much as I do. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I will catch you next time.